And it's not because everyone's gullible. It's because there's a credibility deficit created by years of threat inflation and selected outrage and security theatre being used to sell wars. People have watched weapons claims become press releases, and press releases become pretexts, and pretexts end up becoming deaths. And then later the corrections arrive as a shrug. Once you've lived through that a few times, you don't owe the propaganda class your trust. You owe them more scrutiny. And scrutiny here takes a very simple shape, because it doesn't require you to assert things you can't prove. It simply requires that you ask what narrative is being prepared, who benefits from that narrative, and how quickly the narrative is being pushed compared to how slowly the actual evidence arrives. It requires you to notice that possible biological laboratory is not the same thing as bioweapon, but it's a phrase that can be made to function as bioweapon in the public's mind if the right people keep talking. It requires you to notice that passports and an Israeli-made rifle are not proof of state direction, but they are perfect props for a story that wants to Israel-Iran a domestic incident. It requires you to notice that when prominent figures and influencers are already yelling about imminent Islamic terror, they're effectively laying the tracks for any future incident to run down, regardless of what the underlying facts are. If you want the most honest bottom line, it's this. A raid in Las Vegas has produced a frightening official description, an Israeli citizen suspect, a paper trail that includes passports and firearms, and a parallel climate of Islamophobic fear pushing that repeatedly tries to place Iran in the frame for domestic danger. That combination makes it entirely unsurprising that people suspect a possible Israeli false flag attempt to pin something on Iran, and it makes it indefensible for anyone to pretend the suspicion is automatically conspiracy thinking just because it hasn't been proven in court. Suspicion is not a conviction. It's a rational response to a world where states and their allies have repeatedly used fear as a political tool.